Okay, so just going to do a really quick one on trying to shade something using the brightness option. So let me get rid of that. Zoom in a bit more. Okay, so let's see. There are a couple of ways you can do it. I can understand, I think, what you're meaning about something starting to blur or darken things up a bit. So if I stuck a layer over the top of all of my work, and if I grab, say, a grey and the airbrushing something, soft brush, and if I start sort of painting, like as you've described, it starts kind of obscuring the detail. I mean, that's not a very good option. I think that colour's probably too light. Yeah. Like it makes it kind of muddy in a way. I've got ones in mine, and these ones, let's see if they do any better. Oh, it's a very small brush. That do kind of shade things a bit better, but again, you are progressively starting to lose the detail more and more. So if I undo all of those, and in actuality, I can probably just get rid of that layer. The way I was going to show you instead is using the brightness tool as a pencil. So I've got loads of random layers on mine, and you have to actually do it on a particular layer to make that layer darker. Now you can't do it on just a generic empty layer at the top. That won't work. Like say if I did have an empty layer there, and I grab a brush and the hue, saturation, brightness, and I try and do a pencil version of that, you saw a brief little message at the top there jump up and say layer empty, and it means I can't do it on an empty layer because there's nothing there for me to make darker. So instead, if I go to a layer that has something on it, say the kind of the main bit of my door, and I grab a brush, what were we using, the airbrushing one, and if I then go to the magic wand, hue, saturation and brightness, and choose pencil, like I said before, I don't know what is up with mine, but it always starts with the hue at 30%, so I always have to put that back to 50. And so again, everything at 50%, if you start drawing, nothing will change. Everything will stay exactly the same because you haven't amended any of these. Where if I drop the brightness way down, maybe 34, and if I start drawing where I know something is on this layer, the background of the door bit here, if I start colouring that in, I mean that's probably too extreme. If I undo that, maybe if I make it say 45% and make the brush a bit smaller, and so it will start to darken the door and sort of keep more of the detail to it because it's just making the door darker. Like it's not actually like it's not painting over the door, it's just making the door darker. The downfall with this way of doing things is you can't really start to like blend your shading because you'll start to smudge everything, but it's just a way of maintaining the detail. So if I maybe if I did it on the window, it might be a little bit clearer. So if I wanted to maybe try and shade under that crossbar a bit more with the same technique, if I go to hue, saturation, brightness, pencil, again I have to change my hue back to 50, lower my brightness, and then start. Again, that brush is probably a bit big, let's make it smaller. So again, I'm not really losing any of the detail, it's just making it darker at that point. Where else could I do that? If I try the same thing on my door frame kind of bit. Let's should do that. Again, hue, saturation, brightness, pencil. Again, I have to change my hue. Darker. And start colouring in the side bit of that door a bit more, so it's a bit darker than it was. I mean, something else I could try and do if on the wall, I do it on my background wall layer, and this time what I could maybe do is if I pick, say, one of the leaf brushes that we got in that Flora set, I'll probably do, and again go hue, saturation, brightness as a pencil. Again, I always have to change my hue, lower the brightness a bit. And what I could do is just start drawing on the wall, and it'll basically just do some shadowy leaves, which could kind of work as like the sun, I guess, maybe shining off some vines or something that are then kind of smattering that over the wall like that. Yeah, which isn't too bad. I might include that. Yeah, I mean, I still don't know if that's kind of clear enough on the shading thing. I mean, again, all that leaf brush has just done is make the area of that wall darker, but in a leaf shape, but it hasn't lost any of that wall grain texture. Again, I could do that with a big painting-y brush. Ooh, as you can see, I just splodged that by accident. I made that small. If I just start painting on the wall, it's making the wall darker without losing the texture of the wall, but it's just adjusting the brightness of that area of the wall. Yeah, I think that'll probably do. Oh, just one thing I can do. If I just do another layer that I can always get rid of. That's 16 we created. I found for doing the wood texture, I did a similar thing with the leather chair I did in that other picture. If I just pick, say, a blue colour, draw a shape. And then if I grab a different colour, different shade of blue, and go to textures, and grunge was one I was using, and then just kind of go over the top of that blue, and I could maybe go even darker here and there, and a couple of bits maybe even lighter, and it just quite quickly and easily gave you that rough kind of texture of the wood. And then I think I even just used in the spray paint some of the flicks just with some white, again just so very quickly, just by drawing a flat blocky door and then painting over with some textures, kind of could make it look weathered quite fast, which I thought might be helpful. Similarly, my wall was just industrial. Yeah, it was just industrial and concrete block. So I just painted a white square, and then used like a grey colour, a light grey colour, to just put that concrete block pattern over the wall, and it was sort of done in no time at all. Yeah, I'm not sure if either of those things will be very helpful, but I could see what you meant about the trying to shade over a layer and it just almost painting over the layer, and I just wonder whether trying to play with that brightness thing might help a bit. The only bind is it will only darken what's on that layer, so you could always wait till a point where you were happy and then merge a whole bunch of layers down almost into like one final image, and then do your shading on it. Oh, what have I managed to do? Move my layers around. Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'll finish with this one and post this, and yeah, Any questions, just let me know. Alright,